Big Bend Community College's medical simulation lab has been hard at work since opening up in April, but it's in need of students interested in the emerging technology. The lab offers opportunities to learn a wide range of medical treatment needs on realistic robots that can breathe, bleed, cry, and even die in a given scenario. History was made on Wednesday night at the Grand County International Airport when Japan's first new commercial aircraft in decades finally touched down on American soil. Salt Lake residents can decide on the future of their city government on November 8th, and the current mayor and 3 city council members held a press conference about it on Tuesday. During his stop in Grand County on Thursday, Republican gubernatorial candidate Bill Bryant took a tour of the Wanapum Dam with the Grand PUD commissioners.
If you can, just kind of encompass what your perspective on it is, what you've seen, what you've experienced, and kind of from somebody who's right there in the middle.
Yeah, as you said, we have been in transition actually for a while now.
For you, what is that connection between making sure you can get enough sleep at night and how much that does impact your ability to fend off mental health or even to deal with mental health?
Yeah. You know what you described, right? It's like a perpetual energy machine.
Quincy High School has been in operation for 60 years. Like most schools in the district, it received a much-needed renovation in 1998, but district officials say the time has come for a brand new facility which would not only address the problem of overcrowding as the city continues to grow. A new high school would also provide students an opportunity to learn in an environment which could better prepare them for college or a career in the 21st century job market. At about $80 million, a new Quincy High School is the centerpiece of the $108 million bond proposed by the district. It would have room for about 200 more students and be constructed within 2 miles of both the current high school and the current middle school. As part of the bond, the high school would get a $2 million renovation into a new middle school, while Quincy Junior High would get a $20 million conversion to a new K-5 elementary school. Principal David Talley talked about the current environment at the high school and how a new facility would benefit both students and teachers moving forward.
This is my 7th year as principal here. And we have grown approximately just about 200 students. And that does a lot of things. Of course, that's need for classrooms, the hallways, just places for kids to be kids and hang out as well. That we just don't own those right now with 800 students. Equally as important, I think, as far as student comfort is, we've outgrown a lot of the lab facilities. School, at high school especially, is more than just 4 walls and 30 desks. There's specialized equipment and things that go along with providing a 21st century education. And as a science teacher, a former science teacher, that's a major thing. We have teachers teaching science that aren't in science labs. And so they have to try to exchange classrooms, try to make do with what they have. And you just can't read a lot of the things out of the book and get the same level of education as you can in a hands-on environment. And that's what I see as a major issue here at the high school, just because we've, like every school, we make do and we make things work, but certainly a brand new facility would entail and encapsulate a lot of those kind of 21st century learning environments that would allow us to do even a better job with our students.
Liz Graff is a teacher and FFA advisor at Quincy High School and says she and other teachers are struggling with helping kids learn subjects in a contemporary way due to aged and obsolete infrastructure.
Well, when this high school was designed, it was designed for one ag teacher. So we have one true ag science classroom. And my classroom has no room at all for any lab equipment. And we want to be getting our students prepared for industry. So when we don't have the room, we don't have the lab equipment available to us, it's really hard and difficult to conduct science in this classroom. And it's a problem with student safety, it's a problem with curriculum, it's a problem with industry standards that we try to teach our students. And we can't do that in such a confined space.
Voters are able to decide on the Quincy School Bond on February 9th. In Quincy, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 News. Out in the rural scrublands of Adams County, there's a property for sale unlike any million-dollar listing you've ever seen. A decommissioned Cold War-era site designed and built in the 1960s to house 4 Titan I intercontinental ballistic missiles. The Titan I was the first ICBM deployed by the U.S. during the Cold War from 1959 to 1965. At 102 feet tall and weighing 116 tons, it could carry a 3.75 megaton thermonuclear warhead more than 6,300 miles. Moses Lake's Larson Air Force Base was one of 6 bases in the country designated as a storage, maintenance, and transport site for the Titan I. According to records, the federal government spent an estimated $127 million to construct the 57-acre site with more than 2,000 feet of tunnels and hardened walls designed to withstand a nuclear attack. For reasons unknown, the military never put the site online, and within 2 years of completion, it was decommissioned and abandoned until a private owner bought it in 1980. A freighter real estate agent, Kevin Burgess, talks about why it's up for sale.
It was put on the market to sell because the father bought it back in the 80s, and now it's the estate, and they're wanting to get rid of it and get it off the books. They've had it since 1980, and so they're ready to move it. It's about 57 acres, half it's fenced with 8-foot fence and barbed wire on the top, so it's pretty secure. It's a decommissioned, so there's nothing in here other than concrete and lots of conduit. There's a lot of different uses you could use it for. Growing mushrooms, wine storage. I've heard other people talk about maybe a brewery, for brewing beer and things like that. I don't know. You got to use your imagination. It's definitely unique.
After more than 50 years underground, the site is in need of renovations and repairs, but Burgess believes someone with big ideas can turn it into a true landmark.
I think you get the right crew in here, you could make this place pretty cool. It could be, a personal residence, or I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what would be the highest and best use for this place. That's the difficult part.
The silos can be yours for a cool $1.495 million. In Adams County, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 News. What compels a man to decide to take a very long walk? For Quincy resident and Marine Corps veteran Daniel Chisholm, it's to help his fellow soldiers through some of the darkest days of their lives. Growing up in Chelan, Chisholm enlisted in the United States Marine Corps after graduating from high school in 2000. In 2003, his unit Bravo Company 17 was sent overseas, marching from Kuwait to Baghdad, and then was based in Al-Najaf, Iraq for the next year. After coming home in 2004, Chisholm moved to Quincy and settled down with his 2 sons and his job as a journeyman boilermaker, but not all of his fellow soldiers have been so fortunate. According to a 2012 Veterans Administration report, 22 veterans commit suicide every day. In 2013, the website 22Kill was established to help bring awareness to the situation and build a network of veterans and community resources across the country. For Chisholm, he decided to take it one step further. Starting from the Grant County Fire District 3 station and with his mother and youngest son by his side, he set out on a 22-mile walk from Quincy to Rock Island, with each mile representing a veteran lost to suicide. Chisholm estimated the walk to Rock Island would take about 7 hours. By 8 a.m., he had reached the outskirts of Quincy.
So how's the first 5 miles been?
5 miles have been great. Kind of boosts up the pace after I hear a honk. I'm like, get a little bit more energy. But I was going a little fast, but I'm trying to pace it out. Kind of go fast on the flats and then slow it down on the uphills. But overall, it's just a bunch of motivation. And
by noon, Chisholm was out in the picturesque scenery of Grant and Douglas County. And just after 2 o'clock, with friends and family waiting to greet him, Chisholm made his way into Rock Island and his destination at the Shell gas station. His son Elijah deciding to join him on the last 100 feet, and the walk was over. 22 miles for 22 veterans who were lost every day. Afterwards, Chisholm talked about the experience and his motivation to give back and be involved in the cause.
I was always kind of, had my own depression issues and kind of kept to myself, but after getting back in shape, it really brightened my feelings, and everything started feeling a lot better. So I had a lot more energy, both mentally and physically. And I came up with the idea to do a walk and tribute to my brothers and sisters who have lost their lives to suicide. I'll continue to do these things with the community, raise my awareness of suicide, PTS, and TBI, educate myself, educate anybody else who wants to be educated, or the public. More stuff to bring the public aware of it, because it needs to be something that not just the veterans are aware of it, but it needs to be their friends, their family, veteran or non-veteran. Everybody should be aware of it. Then they know, what would be the triggers that makes their friends or family uneasy, or down low, and then it's just we need to keep it, consistent and active until there are none.
In Rock Island, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 News. Homelessness is an issue in almost every city and every state. On Thursday night, 4 members of the Grant County Homeless Task Force came together to raise money and community awareness for the homeless by spending a night on the street. El Sendero Pastor Mike Alvarado, Moses Lake School District official Dave Balka, Moses Lake Police Chief Dave Ruffin, and Serve Moses Lake Director Tim Cloyd shacked up in cardboard boxes and sleeping bags in the parking lot at Penhalleric's True Value Hardware to get a taste of what the homeless go through every night. Cloyd talked about how the task force came up with the idea.
Well, the Grant County Homeless Task Force was put together to deal or to try to help the situation with homelessness in our community and throughout the county. And we felt like, okay, we could work towards some physical remedies, but it's really education for the community that's needed to help people become aware. There's a lot of myths and fears and misunderstandings, and so we felt like this would be a step for us to bring awareness, to kind of heighten the awareness in the community, and it certainly has done that. And with the addition of the warming center starting this year, we thought this is a good timing for us to bring that to light, to receive donations from the community, to get people connected to it in a practical way.
While the guys hunkered down for a long night, Cloyd said what they experienced is only a fraction of what homeless people can go through every day.
First of all, in doing this, we're not saying that we know what it's like to be homeless. We've dressed really warmly. We've got some comforts that way. So it's really not about us saying, hey, I know what it's like to be homeless and I can understand what you've been through. It's more about, okay, we need to take a step and help the community understand that it takes a whole community to help people that are in this place. And if we can take one small step to bring more awareness to that, well, we believe that everyone deserves that human dignity, no matter what situation they might find themselves in. If they are struggling with substance abuses or alcohol, they still need to be loved and cared for, and they need those basic elements. And we would rather have a person come to the warming center where we can develop a relationship with, hopefully, and when they're ready to make those kinds of changes and decisions, then hopefully we can help point them in the right direction. It's true, we were actually pretty grateful last winter that it wasn't as harsh as previous winters have been. And so that we felt like, oh, good, that gives us even more time to accomplish this. But we felt like, man, we've got to make that first step. That warming center became available. We really went after it. And so that's been a good, healthy step for us. It's been averaging probably 11 or 12 people every night there. And so we thought, okay, we're going in the right direction. Let's keep this going.
Along with the Sleep on the Street campaign, the task force is doing the annual point-in-time homeless count next Thursday, and the warming center is open through the end of February. In Moses Lake, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 News.